Alright, throughout your guys' lives, many of you guys have heard from your parents or grandparents that an apple a day will keep the doctor away. I believe that to be mostly true. However, have you ever thought about the apple you're actually eating? Or whose hands have been on that apple, or what chemicals have been sprayed on that apple throughout its growing process? How was it shipped? Where was it shipped from? These are questions most people do not think about when buying produce from a grocery store. Maybe sometime you should ask yourself, what are you actually buying? A lot of misconception of people actually growing their own produce is from a farmer standpoint. You have to have overalls to grow this fruit. You have to be raised on a farm. This is a misconception. Anybody can grow their own garden, and anybody can grow a better produce or product that you can buy from the actual grocery store. At the grocery store, you don't know what you're purchasing. You don't know what you're buying. You don't know what you're feeding to your kids, feeding to yourself, feeding to your family. A lot of products bought from the grocery store have been shipped in from regions unknown or places unknown. You have no idea who has handled these products with their bare hands, what they've done with their hands before touching your products, what containers they've been shipped in, if any chemicals have been shipped or chemicals have dripped onto the products that they have shipped to you, any contaminated boxes even that they have been shipped in. In addition to that, once they've been shipped, or even prior to them being shipped, they are presented to the customers in the most fabulous way they can be. They use additives and waxes and steroids to make their products look the best they can for the consumer to buy. Waxes is a very common thing for blueberries, grapes, and apples. Apples is the most common thing. They'll put a glaze of wax across your apple to give it the crimson or ruby red or green or any color they're trying to sell you. They want to make their product look as good as they can to actually sell it to you. And that's not natural. You don't need to eat wax to be healthy. You don't need to eat any of these preservatives to be happy. Would you just go into your cabinet under the sink and just start eating chemicals just to make any food you're eating look better? Or would you put that on your table for your family to dribble across their food to look better? I personally would not. It's just a seller. All it is. They try to sell you these products. By growing your own produce, you know what you are actually eating, and you know what you're growing, and you know what you're feeding your family. I garden every single year, and I never use any pesticides or herbicides to grow my plants or to even present them to my family. A lot of pesticides and herbicides used today are being, by the FDA, originally they were made available to the United States for any consumer to eat. They consider them edible. Nowadays they're starting to release them as non-edible products. They have linked a lot of the pesticides and herbicides to cancerous products that cause cancer. In addition to that, a lot of products that the youth has eaten from infant to teenager is starting to prove to cause ADD or ADHD. And this is just from the additives in fresh produce that you feed your child. You go to the grocery store, you see a good product, and you think that it's okay for your child to eat. But actually, it's causing ADHD, and it's also been proven that if you do not obtain the ADHD or the cancer, it can be passed on from your child just from you eating that product throughout your life. Besides the health risk from growing your own garden or from eating produce from the grocery store, it's the financial side of it. The world's tight with money right now, especially America. Our dollar isn't worth very much anymore. If you grow your own garden, you can buy a package of tomatoes or cucumbers or even a pack of beans for half the price. You could buy a batch at the grocery store. One package. I grew green beans last year. I bet I picked, close to probably 2,000 beans last year, and they're better than any bean I've ever eaten in the grocery store. In addition to that, cherry tomatoes are one of the leading products that will that has the most pesticides or herbicides on them. In fact, in the list that contains the most additives that are unhealthy are apples, celery, cherry tomatoes, and grapes. Any of those products bought at your local grocery store have been proven not by the FDA, by everybody else. The FDA is saying these products are okay to eat, but everybody else has proven these products to be worse. One of the worst things, they contain toxins, they contain cancerous products, they contain pesticides, herbicides, things that you do not need in your diet. By growing your own garden, not only can you teach your children and your grandchildren how to do it, it'll behoove your actual diet, it'll behoove your family time. By being outside, you'll collect vitamin D from the sun. It's one of the best things to do. I don't know why anybody buys produce, from the actual grocery store, unless it's something that you can't grow in your own region. I would never buy any produce from the grocery store. Does anybody have any questions?
What if you don't have time to grow your own garden?
Gardening does not take much time.
But are there certain organic groceries you can get stuff from that's okay to eat, or does all that just a higher price on
organic food in the grocery store costs an excessive amount. I grow organic vegetables every year, and I grow a grip of an amount, and it costs me very little. Ben?
What type of vegetables can you grow around here?
Green beans grow great. Tomatoes, cucumbers, corn. Corn's a big thing in Kansas here. Strawberries are a very big grower. You can actually grow grapes here in the state of Kansas, but it takes about 5 years for actual grapevine to produce.
What kind of soil do you recommend?
Kansas soil is good. You can add nitrogen. You can add a lot of additives to your soil. But if you want to go all organic, you'll just use the Kansas soil.
Are there certain products that that don't have a yield every year? Like you have to...
Yes, strawberries, it'll take 1 to 2 years. Grapes will take probably 3 to 5 years to actually get a yield off of. Besides those are the only two I'm knowledgeable about.
I've noticed that a lot of fruits and vegetables come from different countries.
Mm-hmm.
What difference does that make?
You don't know what you're getting your hands on. Grow your own.